Hi, everybody.
Hello.
How are we doing?
So well.
So well.
Terrific.
I feel like this is the exchange we do every week where we're just like, it's great.
Well, I think part of it,
Life is awesome.
I think part of it is that we spend quite a bit of time talking before we turn on. So then
Then
it
it's
feels like we're
awkward.
going backwards.
Yes.
Like, oh, hi.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hey. Oh, I didn't see you there.
It's like we're pretending, and we don't like pretending.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't like
true.
to be-
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't like it. I was trying to think of a transition, and I got nothing. So
It's all right.
how about we move to unmitigated gall? Do either of you have some burning gall you want to talk about?
I don't know if it's
I know it's not, we don't need a medical
burning.
condition, but
Yeah. I don't know if it's burning or itching.
Okay,
But
great.
Unmitigated gall this week is directed at a place I actually really love and is a big part of my life, but I'm very frustrated with their rewards program.
Okay.
Scooters decided to roll out a new rewards program. And let me tell you what it was before so you can
Wait,
fully
and
appreciate.
Is Scooters a chain? It's a coffee chain.
It's a franchise, yeah.
Okay.
Like you can, franchise it and put one in your town.
And it's just
or
like a
whatever.
drive-through, right? There's
Just
no
a drive-through.
in-cafe.
You cannot
Okay.
go in. You cannot sit down. You get your coffee and you go.
Okay.
There's one in Norwalk where I live, which is great. I'm very excited about it. It's my preferred coffee place. Very friendly. They're quick. They know what they're doing. They used to have a rewards program where if you paid with the app, which I always did, that you just, for every dollar you spent, you earned they called them smiles, like a certain amount of.
Gross.
I know. For Amy to stay in this, we're just going to say like you earn points. Okay. So you
Thank
earn
you.
points.
Thank
And
you.
sometimes you got double points or like if you, depending on how often you go to Scooters, you could earn more points on things. But then you just get a free drink, like up to a very high value. Okay. So then you would just see it on there. It would go in your rewards thing and scan it. They'd be like, oh, your drink's free today. And you'd be like, great. Terrific program. Simple, easy to understand. I like it. They roll out this whole thing and first of all, I get an email about it because to get the app, you have to put your email in. So I get an email from Scooters, which at first I find alarming because I'm like, why are you emailing me now?
Yeah, this feels invasive.
In my inbox, not even like in promotions. So I open it and they're like, and now it's this whole like tiered system. And instead of earning free drinks, you earn points, but then they can only be used towards certain things like a modifier, meaning like you get a different kind of milk in your coffee or like all this. So it's like not the same and you're not earning at the same rate. And they tried to act like it was so great. And I'm like, this is all garbage. And a bunch of people on Facebook were saying that they lost I didn't, like I had just used a free drink, but they lost their other rewards points. And if they had anything stored up like a free drink, because you used to have a year to use the free drink.
So Scooters is losing money, and they're like, look at this brand new system where we don't spend as much.
That's fine if you just say we're switching the reward system, but I don't like the back sell. I don't like you trying to tell me this is better. We all know it isn't. I was getting a free drink. Now I'm just getting like you can have almond milk.
Yeah.
No, like that's not what the program was before, and I just find it incredibly frustrating.
The lying kind of marketing where they're like, it's so much better.
It's so much better, but it's not. And what I hate about it is that I think in general, they seem to be a pretty good company. Like it's the exact same people, at least at the Norwalk one. They have barely any turnover there, which tells me, the lady that owns it, I know the one lady that owns the franchise in Norwalk, and she's super friendly, nice. So I'm sure she's a good boss. So I guess I can't comment totally on the corporate structure, but like they all seem very happy with their jobs. I know one of the younger gals that works there, and she said, yeah, it's like my favorite job I've ever had. Like it's, very well organized, all those things. That's great. Like, why didn't you hold on to that? Like you had that going for you. You're trying to put like Lucky Charms marshmallows and like weird blender drinks. And I'm like, no, I just want my coffee. And now you're making me feel like I'm 12. And then I don't know if I can keep going here.
I'm sorry. That betrayal hurts.
It did hurt. And I was really sad this week about it. And I don't know. You know what? Full disclosure, I had a rough week. So maybe it just hit me. Maybe it just hit me wrong, but it was just a real blow.
But it shows that something like this, it hits you in your emotional core, and your emotions were not ready, and you couldn't handle it.
It didn't stop my business. I'm holding a Scooter's coffee as we have this discussion, but you know what? It just was a thing. I thought, why take all the good away?
That feels like the world right now. Why are we taking all the good away?
And it feels like the shit that I'm seeing, right? Like you're trying to
Yes.
sell me that these things are good and I know they're not.
Exactly.
Just don't, just save yourself the trouble.
Yeah.
Just switch it up.
Just tell me that coffee got too expensive.
Yeah.
And so now you can't do it.
We are bailing over here. So we can't be giving you free drinks anymore. And I mean, that might be true because you could earn a free drink quick.
Probably the tariffs.
Exactly. They should have just said, this is a tariff thing. This
is a tariff
thing from
response.
tariffs.
Well, I think, didn't Bezos say that? And the press secretary at the White House called him a terrorist? Like something like that suggested
Yeah.
because...
So Scooters was like, we can't say that.
Turns out we will be accused of domestic terrorism. So we're just going to say we changed the rewards program.
All right, Scooters, I see you. I see you. Trying to avoid, jail. So that's good.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I get
that's
it.
fair.
Yeah. I don't think you do well there. Just based on...
The name Scooter.
Oh, Scooter, you're not going to do well. No. Not
no.
going to go well.
No.
All right, Heath, what's yours?
I think mine... well, actually, I couldn't decide. There was two of them, so I'll have two brief ones.
Great.
Ooh, I love it.
Number one, I we were talking about the Pope, who had died, killed by J.D. Vance, allegedly.
Yes. Is it allegedly? I feel like there's proof. Yeah.
But I've seen people online talking about how, the Pope Francis, who passed away, how progressive he was.
Okay.
And I'm just like, I think he got the label of being progressive just because he tended to treat people better than most popes do.
Just a tiny bit.
And that's just baseline shit. Like, that's not progressive. That's not like some visionary leadership thing. Like, just when you're a leader in that kind of position, treating people well should not be like the exception to the rule. Like, that should just be it.
You're admitting as the Catholic Church that he's progressive because he was nicer or because he just didn't say certain things, which is like, so you're just admitting how bad you are because if that's your version of progressive, I'd hate to see what your version of conservative is.
So we're not burning witches, so it's progressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job, Francis.
And that may mean, does that make the Catholic Church ecologically friendly because they're not burning witches?
That is a great point. They're not starting wildfires.
Ooh, that's a
so
good-
they are ahead of the
good
curve on
point.
climate change.
Yeah.
Good job.
I don't think
Francis.
generally the Catholic Church gives a shit about climate change.
Oh, I doubt they do.
Yeah, I
They probably don't
think
believe
so.
it.
No.
I mean, that Pope mobile, carbon emissions were high.
Yeah. And he was progressive because he took the glass off. He said,
Oh.
I can't reach people.
Oh,
so you
man.
can take these bulletproof windows out.
What about the whole smoke thing that they let out when they've chosen a new pope? That's not ecologically friendly.
It is
No.
not.
Uh-uh.
What about the ozone?
Exactly.
Exactly. Exactly.
All
Nor
right.
not to mention all the money and expense that goes into doing the conclave to elect a new pope.
Yeah.
Yep. Just send out a survey monkey. Just email people, have them vote, tally them up. You don't even need to pay for a subscription. You can use the free version.
Just do the free version.
Watch the ads.
You can make a Google form.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, I want to see that so much.
I do too.
Choose your new pope.
Yeah. Just like a little dancing cardinal across the
And then
top.
have a spot where you can add a name. Like, who do you
Yeah,
nominate?
you can do a write-in.
Yeah.
Ronald McDonald for Pope.
I say the Winter Soldier for Pope.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So that's my one unmitigated goal. My other one is Amy and I went and saw Thunderbolts yesterday, and Flick's Brewhouse is doing some new cockamamie bullshit.
Yes, they are.
where they've changed the way you order.
No.
But it's also, we just get one ticket because Amy bought our tickets together. So when you go, then all the food, everything's on a ticket. So, and Amy and I know each other well. We're close. We have Venmo. We can exchange monies.
Yes. You sent me too much monies, by the way.
Well,
but,
that's all right.
I figure we'll get even. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a service fee in there.
Carrying the balance for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't need, like, it's, I'm certainly it's because then there's fewer transactions, which means fewer credit card charges they're paying, I assume.
Wouldn't they be just passing the credit card charge on to you anyway?
Well, that's true. I mean, they charge an 18% gratuity
Yeah, they do.
on everybody's automatically, even though we didn't actually. That
was gonna
fucker,
say-
he owed us money when this was done.
I was gonna say I thought that was gonna be your goal, was our weird ass waiter, but yeah.
He showed up wearing, like, he had a headband on.
Yeah, there was a lot.
And he was like, do you want to order from here? Or do you want to order from your phone? And we were like, no, we'll take the phone.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And then he stood down near there's like a podium thing where you come into the theater, and he was shouting things, and he was telling people when the movie's over, like, there's 2 end credit scenes. You don't have to look it up now. I told you. You're welcome. Like shit like that. And it was just like, calm down, Ted.
There was at some points he was talking to I don't know who. Like it was just he was like, I think he's lonely.
He is. I think he was lonely. And what he was like playing air piano on the podium once to match the music that was playing over the end credits.
Yeah, it was a lot.
I'm sorry. That seems distracting.
I don't know.
I wondered too if you were going to bring up the people that had obviously never been to a movie before too, because there were people on the other end that were hard laughing at just the minimal, thing that might be a joke.
Right. Like mildly amusing stuff, and they were laughing like it was,
They'd never been out of the house ever in their lives.
This feels like, I hate to say it a little bit about the patrons, but it feels a little bit like you run that risk when you go to a movie with Amy, because she attracts some strange movie patrons for some reason.
Yeah. But, we kind of go, looking, who are we going to see now?
Yeah,
because we get some weirdos.
It's the only way to do it. You got to just lean into it. Yeah.
We've seen some things in our Marvel time.
Yeah, it's Merlin Mall, so you're going to see a thing or two.
Yeah, you are.
Well, I walked in yesterday. I was like, maybe my gall should be the mall, because I don't understand the selection of these stores. There was a whole store for dog tags, and there's a store for
what?
Yeah, there was a sign coming in that said what was it, handmade diamonds, or can't be right. Is that a 3D printer? Are you 3D printing diamonds? But that kind of leads me to my gall. If you're finished, okay. Because on the way to the mall yesterday, my gall is the family of a woman I'm going to call Susan. Because on the way to Flick's Brew House, both Heath and I clocked this. There was a billboard that said, in loving remembrance of Susan. And it said it had a picture of her face.
It's the, whatever Reagan one.
Yes,
yes.
you've seen this.
Yes.
Okay.
I saw it yesterday, too.
Okay.
And I was so confused.
Yes. And it said, born 1924 to, whenever. And then, I don't know, there were a couple lines of, always in our heart or something like that.
Like you did so much to make us love you. Or, it was sort of
But my takeaway as I drove by was okay, there's somebody in the family that is just, going hard at this message that Grandma was great. Everyone else in the family is she was a bitch. And this one person is no, I'm going to show how much I love Grandma by shelling out all this money for a billboard. And then you're going to see that I won. I won the grandkid game, everybody.
You won.
Yeah.
I am a dummy chicken, and I thought that because the last name was Reagan, I was like, so is that a relation? Why are we putting famous? Is she famous? That's why she must be on the billboard.
Well, we were.
I thought no
thing,
more.
who is this?
Yeah, I don't know who it is.
I actually Googled it
last
night after we got home.
Okay.
And from what I can tell, this woman was from Utah.
What?
And her husband owns the billboard company. Then they have billboards all over the country. There were several.
So these are everywhere.
Yeah, there were several links to news stories that were just how much longer is this Julia Reagan billboard going to be up? People were just this seems weird.
Oh my God! So this is not just an Iowa West Side Iowa.
Yeah.
Des Moines
I saw it on Fleur.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ours was right by Merle Hay Mall.
Oh no, I was on Fleur.
What?
On your way, if you're going to,
Yeah, apparently it's all over the place.
Also, as I drove by, I was oh, it's the blowjob queen of Hollywood.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I was like, what? She died of
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So
wow.
I
billboard husband pulling out the big
Maybe she's the blowjob queen of Utah.
maybe she would.
There's a heavy competition there. I don't know.
I was going to say, I bet it doesn't take much to be a blowjob queen.
Have you seen Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? I don't.
Okay, well, Susan or Julia, I guess, your family sucks, and that's my gall.
I can't believe they're all over the country. My mind's kind of blown by that right now.
Now I'm wondering if it's the husband, if he was stepping out on the wife, and now he's I got to show how much I loved her.
Yeah, it feels like an overreach of some kind.
It just feels performative.
Yeah.
I went a darker place
Okay.
and thought that she was I swear to God, if you put me on a billboard when I die, I will lose it. I will haunt you forever. And he's like, really? How about the whole country, Julia?
Yeah. So, moral of the story is maybe we shouldn't buy billboards for each other after we die.
I will not commit to that.
Okay. All right. If you did buy one for Heath, we could include some of his lines. Krantz me.
Krantz me. Krantz me. That's all it will say.
Don't wait till I die. Just do it while I'm alive.
Oh, good call. Yeah. Why
right.
waste it?
I'll just Heath's picture, Krantz me. That'll be, you'll get all the attention you really want with that. Oof.
Okay. All right. So before we go into, I forgot to say this. This is 1994 that we're going to talk about today. But our last one, should we do a recap?
Recap.
Our last one. Okay. So I talked about the unfortunate fire that Lisa Left Eye Lopez started of her boyfriend's shoes that then spread to the whole house.
Sucks because I think that would have been a good message without the spread.
Great message.
I know.
Yeah.
And we talked about this last time, and we see this all the time. Like, somebody will start a piece of paper on fire, like drop it in a sink, and it doesn't burn the house down. I get where her head was when she started these sneakers on the fire.
Yes.
But
you like these so much? I mean, who?
Guess what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been so gratifying.
Yeah.
Also, this year, Netscape was launched. The potential precursor to Google. It felt like it was Google at the time. Also, the strange occurrence, at least in our Midwestern community, of wearing college sweatshirts to which we did not attend.
That's such a great one.
At which Heath shared his senior picture. Was it Alabama?
It was Alabama.
I was going to say, I thought it was Alabama, and I love that so much.
Aaron, you talked about the O.J. Simpson chase. You also talked about Howard Stern helping a caller in crisis, which seemed like a rare moment of him doing something good.
Yeah.
And also how Crayola had to discontinue scented crayons.
Kids be dumb.
Kids be dumb.
They be
eating their crayons.
Yeah.
Heath, you gave us the OJ trial. You also gave us Death of a Cheerleader.
What a movie.
Which the plain girl was the dangerous one.
Not the plain girl. You always got to watch out for the plain
Not the
girl.
plain
The plain girl. And then you introduced probably the best moment in pop culture history. Is that what you introduced? Mariah Carey's Merry Christmas.
Yeah, we had been waiting. And
And I remember our reaction was like, oh my God, how did we not see this coming?
I know. I was like, how
not?
did this not come up?
Yeah.
And then there we were.
And then it did. And then we said, oh, we didn't even see this in the list for 1994. And you said, they were wrong.
Those lists can go to hell.
Yeah. That's fair. I like that. Yeah.
With Julia Reagan, maybe.
With Julia. Oh. All right, Aaron, you want to kick this off?
Yeah, I was shocked when I was doing research that I didn't feel the need to bring this before, because what a pinnacle moment in 1994, and one that has stuck with me and I return to every once in a while. And that is the assault of Nancy Kerrigan.
When I saw this, I was like, wait, how did we not talk about this?
I was shocked. And I was like, how did I not talk about this?
Yeah.
Because I was an ice skating fanatic when I was younger. Like, I
wow.
loved watching it in the Olympics. I had Ice Capades Barbie and Ken. Like, I was in. So, I mean, I was getting older, obviously, in 1994, but it was still one of my favorite things to watch. My main question when reading this is, for you guys, do you think that Nancy Kerrigan thinks that the January 6th insurrection stole her thunder?
Oh.
Because this attack happened on January 6th.
Did it really?
1994.
Oh, man.
And I don't remember that date, but I certainly remember the other January 6th date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like 9/11 for me.
Yeah, stealing your birthday.
Stealing your
This
birthday.
is.
Yeah. It's like a date that,
Poor Nancy.
So on January 6th, 1994, she was struck on the lower right thigh with a baton.
It was the thigh.
It was
I
the
thought
thigh.
It was like the lower
I thought it
leg.
was the knee.
Yeah.
I thought it was a direct shot
Yeah.
to the knee. And they said her knee did bruise really bad, like all that area. So I guess. But we later found out that the assailant was Shane Stant. She was in a Michigan arena practicing. She actually had cameras following her at the time. They were doing a documentary. The cameras went down. She walked behind a curtain. And that's where he did one of the weirdest assaults I've ever heard. He reached from behind around her and hit her on the leg, which I feel like would be less force. Like,
Right,
I
yeah,
don't know
that'd be
if,
hard to...
Yeah, you're going to lose
Yeah.
your momentum. Yeah.
It quickly came out that the assault was planned by Jeff Gooley.
Galooly?
And his
Best name ever.
Yeah, and his co-conspirator, although I'm guessing that they just prefer the term boy, Sean Eckert. I don't think either of them knows what a co-conspirator is.
No, not at all.
Jeff was the then husband of Tanya Harding, which is how this started to get real sticky. They hired Stant to do this all, and Stant thought, you know what? I'm going to bring in my Uncle Derek. My Uncle Derek Smith.
Oh, good.
And he's going to help me carry out this attack. He was the getaway driver. Which right there is where, just as like someone who watches a lot of Datelines and crimes, too many people.
You say it again and again.
You
bringing in
fucked
too many
up.
people.
You got 4 people now you have to assume are going to withstand police interrogation, are going to be able to keep their mouth shut. They're not going to tell anyone else. And I got to say, with a name like Jeff Gillooly and Shane Stant, they are cracking immediately.
Yeah.
This is the best thing they've done in their lives. They are telling everyone at the bar about this.
This feels like that lottery thing where like everyone is just going to the bar and talking about.
Guess what I did?
Yeah.
Oh, you see that on the news?
I did that.
I can't say, but I'll just say I got a pretty good arm.
Got a lot of reach.
Yeah. Look at how long this sucker is. What? Why did you do it from the back? So the other thing that I have a problem with in this crime is that the way that he escaped was just by smashing through a locked glass door.
Like the Kool-Aid Man?
Yeah.
Wait, so they're in the ice rink. He just runs through a plate of glass?
And then gets into Uncle Derek's car and takes off. I mean, the wildness of that is just insane. So immediately, as soon as this gets tracked down, because it didn't take long.
Yeah.
it just didn't take long. Gillooly and Eckert flipped on Tanya Harding immediately.
Yep.
I mean, hard.
For sure.
And said she knew about the attack beforehand. She helped plan it, all of these things. She, of course, denied all of that, but then did end up taking a plea agreement admitting that she covered up the attack after the fact. That she found out afterwards that her husband and his friend had done this and she just helped them like cover it up because she didn't want the connection. However, a grand jury and the United States Figure Skating Association both found evidence that she was involved, but it never really went anywhere after that because she had taken the plea deal. The reason for the attack was that apparently this was going to put Nancy Kerrigan out of the U.S. World Skating Championships, which would then mean she couldn't participate in the Olympics. But I think she got, basically special consideration because she couldn't participate in the U.S. skating championships because it was too bruised and all of that. But she was able to compete in the Olympics that year.
This totally backfired because it gave her sort of the sympathy vote.
Yeah. And then they both competed. Both women competed at the Olympics. And then after the Olympics is when the U.S. Skating Association banned Harding from all future skating events after they found out more evidence and stuff. But everything was happening so fast because it was so close that they allowed her to participate.
How did she do in the Olympics?
I think she got 3rd, didn't she?
Tanya Harding did?
Nancy Kerrigan got silver, and I thought that Tanya Harding placed because she has a bronze medal.
Okay, so they let her keep the medal. Yeah,
I'm assuming,
okay.
Unless they did take it away. But I thought I remembered that and I could be dead wrong about that. But another thing you might remember from this time is that on the news, they just kept showing the same clip of Nancy Kerrigan on the ground going, "Why?
Yes.
And which, I don't know if it served to help her sympathy or not.
Yeah, I think we all got real sick of her.
As a skating fan, people were real sick of her before that. She was a real diva, and she really thought she was better. Her interviews were always like a little bit off, where you're like, oh, okay. And it fit a perfect narrative, right? Because Nancy Kerrigan looks like an ice princess.
Yeah.
Like she looks like she belongs there. Tanya Harding's like this scrappy girl who had to do it all on her own. That everyone was like, you never quite fit the part.
She had to like make her own stuff.
Yes. Yeah. And if you also, I loved that movie. I know you did too. But
Yes.
Tanya came out a few years ago, which was a great accounting of it and kind of shows her side of things, kind of saying that she didn't know about the attack and there was a lot of horrible things going on with her husband and all of that. So
Who's Sebastian Stan?
Yeah. So
Just got to mention
take that what you will, but
Yeah.
it's interesting, Nancy Kerrigan, that you were so not liked that you became an unsympathetic victim after being attacked with a baton.
It also didn't help when she was on Saturday Night Live and she was one of the worst hosts.
Yes, I forgot
in the
about that.
history of the show. She's just not a good actor, and that's
She's
fine. That's
not.
not her job. Her
Yeah.
job is not
No.
acting, but she was really. It was very stiff and it was tough to watch.
I'm surprised we didn't get a Ryan Murphy show about the
I know.
right. Like
Right,
this
yeah.
feels like
Yeah.
this feels like it would be prime. Yeah, I was surprised too that we hadn't talked about this.
Shocked.
And I thought about it and I was like, no, this is Aaron. Aaron is definitely in on this. Not even because of the ice skating, but because the true crime aspect of it is just, this is, you know. Also, I just love the idea of all these dumbass guys. Like, we're going to go do it.
Yeah.
We're going to help Tanya.
Take out her knee.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't figure out where to leave. I'll just run through this glass door. What?
You would think he would want stealth on the way out.
You would think.
That feels like we're getting all the attention now.
I also just questioned, was this the best time when she has cameras following her? So now the cameras were down, but there was a lot of witnesses. Like, too many witnesses, too many people involved, no escape route, no like story. You didn't get no one got their stories straight beforehand. It was very ill planned. And I'm assuming you were going for her knee and missed.
I love when crime is done by dummies.
Yes.
I love it so much. It makes me feel a little better about myself. Like, I would do it better than that, at least.
Yeah. Also, the reach around. I feel like you need to come at it straight.
It feels like he got confused. He got confused with the setting, and he was like, I know how to do a reach around, but whoops, there's a tool. Yeah.
I know how to do a reach around. There's usually not a lady involved.
Not a lady.
Not a lady.
Whoops,
Yeah.
I don't know where things are.
What am I doing? Get out my baton, my telescopic baton. Huh.
Nice. Mm-hmm. All right, Heath, what do you got for us from 94?
I have something I think that might actually be dumber than what
shit.
Jeff Galilei and company. There was a movie called Junior.
Oh, my God.
that was released the day before Thanksgiving in 1994. An audience all across the country said, no thanks.
Was it a flop at the bottom?
It didn't make Arnold Schwarzenegger money. It made some money.
Okay.
But it did not make
Arnold
Schwarzenegger
it's
money.
objectively terrible. I just wondered if it was,
Yeah, I don't think I bothered to see this one. And this was the same year as True Lies when he was like...
Yeah. Yeah, True Lies came out in the summer, and that's a good movie.
Okay.
So in this movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a doctor, if you can believe that. Dr. Alex Hess and Danny DeVito plays Dr. Larry Arbogast. And together they invent a fertility drug that is supposed to reduce the likelihood of a woman experiencing a miscarriage. So,
Okay.
So at this point, the FDA hasn't approved the drug, so Dr. Alex and Dr. Larry can't test the drug and continue their research. But then Dr. Larry finds a Canadian pharmaceutical company to fund their research, and all they have to do is find a volunteer. Dr. Alex doesn't think that a pregnant woman would willingly take an unapproved drug, so he decides he'll get himself pregnant with an ovum they've codenamed Junior.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Okay. So he took so many leaps away from the target.
I don't get himself pregnant. I don't know why we're just saying that as though that didn't require other drugs and things.
So this drug not only gets you pregnant, but it helps you grow a uterus and ovaries and all the things that you need to.
They glossed over a lot of details.
Yeah. Sure.
Which in the pitch meeting, people asked, and they're like, "Don't worry, you're getting bogged down in the details.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
People will buy it. It's fine."
Yep.
Here's a poster. Think of it.
People
Arnold
are gonna
Schwarzenegger, pregnant belly.
People are gonna love it. Eat it up.
So, and then at this point, I do want to remind everybody that the filmmakers thought that people would think this was funny.
You're right.
This man would just make himself pregnant because of the sciences and and the whatnot.
Yeah.
Apparently, they thought the next part would be funny as well.
Oh
no.
So some time passes, and Dr. Alex starts complaining about all the typical, quote unquote, lady problems that are associated with being pregnant, like sore nipples and being tired and being achy and overly emotional.
So this is gonna just lean so hard into stereotypes of women. It's just gonna.
He cries at a TV commercial.
Oh, boy.
Like you guys do all the time.
Fuck you! I do that now. On the reg.
Yeah. But he doesn't have a miscarriage, so I guess everything.
Yay! Problem solved.
Everything's working.
Proof of concept.
You know what I like though is that we seem to have more respect for science back then. We thought things were possible.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now it would be a different tone.
Yeah.
Be like, science isn't working. Let's just
Look what happened. A man got pregnant. Don't take the vaccine.
Robert Kennedy saw this movie and was like, yes, this is the documentary.
Exactly. He He was like, I get it now. I get it.
It's coming up in the report. We just need to wait. It's coming up. Yeah.
There'll be a footnote, as seen in the movie Junior.
Maybe this is the cause of autism right here. Like, he's figured it out.
He's figured it out.
Oh, my God.
Well, look at us.
Oh, my God.
Put this in the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
We've found solutions. We've solved
You're
problems.
welcome, RFK.
Yeah. Your work is done. Step aside.
Eventually, the experiment ends, but Dr. Alex decides to carry the pregnancy to term.
Cool.
Partly because he wants to see this through, and partly, I assume, because the folks who were still enjoying this movie are likely the same folks who wouldn't know if they should be angry about a man getting an abortion.
Right.
I mean, it's an abortion, but it's a man doing it. And we all know that kind of the anti-abortion
fine,
folks
then.
are,
Yes.
it's more about a woman having a choice than about the actual procedure.
Very much so. Yeah.
So, and Dr. Alex has developed a relationship with fellow scientist Dr. Diane Redden, who is played by Emma Thompson.
Oh, Emma, what are you doing?
Right.
Oh, no.
I hope Emma Thompson had a real long talk with her agent after he recommended her taking this movie, this role in
way
this
too
pretty
good
bad
for
movie.
this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And it turns out that the ovum that Dr. Alex is carrying came from her. But she doesn't know that it's hers.
What?
That she didn't know that they're using hers.
So they stole her eggs?
Oh my God! That's so much worse than anything else that's happened.
So they stole her eggs. What?
How?
I don't remember.
I guess that was probably glossed over.
I guess there was just like a refrigerator somewhere with ovums in them, and that just happened to be the one that grabbed. I
That
don't
makes
know.
sense.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah,
God.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the writers were all men, definitely.
Facts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That
so
makes
she
sense.
doesn't know, but when she finds out, she's pretty pissed because she did not sign off on any of this nonsense, right?
Yeah. That's a
lot.
That's a gut punch and a life changer.
Mm-hmm.
This is about the time that Dr. Larry and Dr. Alex find out that their boss is trying to take credit for their experiment, even though he told them that the experiment had to end. So Dr. Alex goes and hides from his boss at a retreat for expectant mothers, because, slapstick.
Oh my God.
And Dr. Diana finds him there, and now she's no longer angry. She's gotten
sure.
over it. So, and she tells Dr. Alex that it doesn't matter who's pregnant because he's the father and she is the mother. And I can't decide if that's progressive or if she's out of her mind or what. I don't know if that, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know what to take from that.
Yeah.
From a different movie, that might be progressive.
Right.
And this one, it's not.
No.
Okay,
No.
so I'm just gonna ask. Maybe you're getting to it, so maybe this is premature, but so we're looking down the barrel of a C-section, right?
That was my first thought
Okay.
as well. Like,
Okay.
where's baby gonna go?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And as you pointed out before, there's been no real explanation about, the way a lady is made.
Exactly,
that
like a uterus
there's,
situation and-
that's
Yeah.
how you get nutrients and whatnot to the baby. And
Good call.
So
Oh, yeah.
Where'd that umbilical cord come from?
Mm-hmm.
Did he grow a placenta? What's happening?
Yeah. Did his organs move out of the way?
Yeah.
How
Did
does
his
this all
hips
work?
start moving?
Yeah. Did he?
Yeah.
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 does Arnold Schwarzenegger have birthing hips?
Right. Oh, good
Apparently.
question.
I
Yeah.
bet they're too tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he gonna have an episiotomy? Like, how's that
Fuck
gonna
yeah.
work? Yeah.
He better.
Yeah. Okay.
So Dr. Alex delivers a healthy baby girl via C-section. And as a viewer, I imagine you're upset, but you're not exactly sure why. And I think that's the right response to the whole film.
Yeah, I am upset, and I didn't even watch it, and I don't entirely know where to direct the anger.
Just some more wild stuff with this movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Emma Thompson were both nominated for Golden Globe Awards for the film.
What?
Shut up.
Yes. Can you
So
imagine?
there was some foreign journalist that was like, "This is it. This is peak
great
cinema."
comedy.
That is the most shocking thing you've said in the last amount of time.
And the song from the movie, which was performed by Patti Smith, the one with the Y.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, Patty, what are you doing?
But the name of the song is "Look What Love Has Done," which sounds like a very accusatory song title. That was nominated for Best Song at the Golden Globes and at the Academy Awards, which technically makes Junior an Academy Award nominated film. And so if you ever took the Golden Globes seriously, now you have 2 more reasons not to.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where to go from there. That's
I don't know. There's been rare moments, but I mean, this almost feels like a mic's down. This is the end of the episode, guys. I don't know.
Are we done with this show now? Are we just like
No, just this episode.
okay,
I don't know
all right.
what to do. If I can like mentally recover from like I had awareness of this film, but I don't think I understood the fine details.
Because I had no desire to see it because
No.
it looked bad.
And I mean, how we got here is Ivan Reitman was the director, and he directed Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito in Twins. Which was a big hit.
Yeah.
And then Arnold Schwarzenegger in Kindergarten Cop, which was a big hit.
Yes.
So they just, I don't know if there's hubris involved here, and they just assumed any old garbage they did would be funny, and lots of people would go see it. I know times were different in 1994 than they are now, but like this is so stupid and loaded and gross and wrong and on so many different levels.
This feels like something that should have come out of the 50s or the 60s where,
Right.
And like now we believe that pregnancy symptoms are real because a man did it and he felt them.
Exactly.
He felt all those things. And so
Exactly.
now it is legitimate. That is how women, it is actually real. It's not in their heads.
I guess in that case, we should thank Junior. Thank you, Junior.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that's the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah.
Thanks, this movie.
Also, I like that Junior turned out to be a girl. Yeah.
Feminism.
Oh,
I feel sorry for her. I mean, you better start therapy now when you find out your birth story.
Yeah, that's a fucked up one.
Yeah. So you stole my mom's egg. I had part of your DNA in me, and you stole someone's like.
I didn't even grow up in a uterus. I just grew up in your weird ass body somewhere, tucked away, next to the pancreas. I don't get it.
Next to the pancreas. Ah! Okay.
Okay, well,
Palate cleanser.
yeah, I think the only thing that I can do as a palate cleanser is another Academy Award nominated movie, which is Pulp Fiction.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is
I was
the
also
only.
surprised we hadn't talked about this.
Yeah, I think this is like the nuclear option after Junior to just make us forget about all of that.
Yep.
Okay, so as we remember, Pulp Fiction is very non-linear. It's sort of all over the place, but I'm going to try and summarize. All right.
I believe you can do it.
Thank you.
If anyone, yeah.
Okay, so we start with a pair of thieves, Pumpkin and Honey Bunny. It's Tim Roth and Amanda Plummer.
Forgot
And they're at a diner. They're eating breakfast, and Pumpkin proposes they rob the diner. And Honey Bunny's like, yes, let's do it. And so it starts with, it's got to be a robbery. Then it switches, and we are following two hitmen. We're following Jules, who is Samuel Jackson, and Vincent, who is John Travolta. And they arrive at an apartment to retrieve a briefcase for their boss, Marcellus Wallace. On the way, Vincent mentions that Marcellus has asked him to take his wife out to entertain her while he's away, which we realize right away, like, this is not a good, why are we doing this?
Don't do
Marcellus,
that, yeah.
what are you doing? Yeah. And Vincent, you're not supposed to agree to this. This is like a trap of some sort. Okay. Mia is Uma Thurman, by the way. We haven't seen her yet. They're in the room. Jules is just chewing on the scenery. He's doing this whole speech. Vincent is looking at the briefcase. They've got what they need. And Jules, he then recites a verse that he says is Ezekiel 25:17. It's an amalgamation of a few verses, but then he proceeds to shoot him after delivering this monologue. Then we switch to Jules and Vincent are giving the briefcase to Marcellus, who is Ving Rhames. And he is bribing boxer Butch to take a dive in his upcoming match. And Butch is Bruce Willis. Switching back. Vincent. I forgot we're following Vincent right now.
Yes.
We're following Vincent. He buys some drugs from his drug dealer, who is Eric Stoltz. He shoots up. He drives to meet Mia so he can entertain her for the evening. Okay. So they go to a 1950s themed restaurant. And they participate in a twist contest. The restaurant is Jackrabbit Slim's. Everyone is dressed as like a celebrity. Their waiter is Steve Buscemi, dressed as, I forget who he's dressed as. But it's like a tiny bit role. We don't really know Steve Buscemi much at this point, but he's there. They go home. Vincent's in the bathroom. Mia finds his heroin, thinks it's cocaine, and snorts it. And then she has a massive overdose. So Vincent is in the bathroom trying to convince himself, you go home. You don't try and get on her. You don't do anything. And then he comes out and she is bleeding. She's overdosing. So he drives her to his drug dealer's house, Lance, who is in a bathrobe. And his wife/partner is Rosanna. Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm
Okay.
good. Yeah.
I was like, oh, did you get it?
I'm trying to look at pictures of
Got
Steve
it.
Buscemi so I can remember who he is in this
Okay,
movie.
good.
Yeah.
I'm researching.
Yeah.
Good.
Real
I thought,
time.
like you got a text and you needed to leave or something.
No.
And the drug dealer's like, oh man, this sucks. Okay, so here's some adrenaline. We're going to shoot it in her heart. So there's this whole scene where he's going to shoot the adrenaline into her heart, and he shoots it, and she wakes up right away, and everything's fine. He drives her home, and they're like, let's not tell your husband. Let's not tell my boss. And they're like, cool, great. Okay, bye. Then we switch to Butch. Butch is the boxer. He's been paid to take a fall in this boxing match, but he doesn't. He ends up beating the guy and killing the guy.
Oh, shit.
And then he runs away. He escapes. He meets up with his girlfriend. And they're like, okay, great. We are going to go on the run. It's going to be great. Except.
Never my reaction to going on the run, but sure.
Except the girlfriend. He's like, where's my dad's watch? And she's like, oh shit, I forgot your dad's watch. We cut to Christopher Walken is talking to a young Butch. And he delivers a monologue. One of the most batshit crazy monologues we've ever heard in our life. Where he's talking about, this watch came from your dad. We were both in Vietnam together. We were in POW camp. And I hid it the only place I could, in my ass. And so he's talking about hiding the watch in his ass. And then he gives the watch with great ceremony to young Butch. And he's like, great, okay. It reminded me Sam Rockwell's recent monologue in White Lotus. I kept thinking of that. I kept thinking of Christopher Walken and the watch up his ass. So...
I hope you get to speak at his Hollywood Walk of Fame ceremony.
Yeah, I do too.
So Butch is like, shit, I can't leave this watch. This was an ass watch. I can't leave it. I gotta go get it. So he goes.
Is that where Swatch got their name? Ass Watch?
Maybe. So he goes home. He goes home to his apartment, knowing that there might be, Marcellus might have sent somebody after him. But nobody's there. He doesn't think. So he finds the watch. He's getting ready to go. And then Vincent comes out of the bathroom.
Oh, shit.
And Butch kills him.
Oh.
And then he runs off. And he's in his car. And he thinks, okay, I got away. Great. So he's at a stoplight. And who walks by but Marcellus Wallace? And so Bruce Willis is like, oh, fuck. They see each other. He tries to run through the stoplight. They both get in a big accident. They're both knocked out. And then Zed gets him. And Zed owns an antique store or something like that. Mm-hmm. And he takes them both in the basement, and bad things occur.
A gimp, right? There's a gimp.
There's a gimp.
Okay.
Gotta go get the gimp. The gimp's sleeping. Gotta go wake him up then. So they wake up the gimp. Bad things happen. Butch escapes. He goes to find a sword up in the antique store, and he kills Zed and the gimp and everyone involved. And Marcellus is saved, so he's like, all right, we're square. See ya. So then Butch escapes with his girlfriend, never to be seen again.
Hell of a job, Butch.
Yeah. Towards the end of the movie, we return to the diner that we were at the beginning. And Vincent and Jules are in the diner. And so there's a whole showdown with Honey Bunny and Pumpkin, in which they show the contents of this briefcase that they just got. We never see the contents of the briefcase, but Pumpkin is so overcome by the briefcase that they're able to get the drop on him. And they convince them to leave, and then Vincent and Jules walk out into the sun, and the movie's over.
I've forgotten so much of that movie.
A lot going on in that movie.
A lot going on. It kind of sounds like a fucking train wreck when you describe it. As I was describing it, I was like, this sounds terrible. Why was this movie so good? Like, there was so much good stuff in it, and it was so bizarre. And maybe partly because I'd never seen anything like it. I don't know about you, but when I watched it, I was like, this is like unlike anything I'd ever seen. Mm-hmm. The budget was only $8 million, but the box office was over $213 million worldwide, so it did really well. It was one of the most profitable indie films ever made. There were 7 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture, Director, John Travolta John Travolta as actor, Samuel Jackson as supporting actor, Uma Thurman as supporting actress. And it won Best Original Screenplay.
Wow.
So some fun facts. So Vincent, backstory is that he's supposedly the brother of Vic, who was Mr. Blonde in Reservoir Dogs, who was Michael Madsen, the guy that cut the guy's ear off.
Oh.
They offered the role, apparently, of Vincent to Michael Madsen, and he's like, no, I'm going to go be in Wyatt Earp with Kevin Costner. So he did that instead of this, and they were like, okay, let's go with John Travolta.
Bad move, dude.
Yeah, bad move. Jules, Samuel Jackson, was originally scripted with a giant afro, but apparently Quentin Tarantino's assistant mistakenly bought a Jerry curl wig. And Tarantino was enraged, which, side note, makes him sound like a total asshole boss. But Samuel Jackson was like, actually, that seems pretty cool because, NWA is wearing Jerry curls, so let's do this. So that's how they went about that. The role of Mia was originally going to go to Holly Hunter or Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan?
Meg Ryan.
What? You've got mail? No.
Apparently, Quentin Tarantino met Irma Thurman, got obsessed with her feet, and then was like, let's bring her in. Have you heard that? That
No.
he has some weird obsessions with her feet because they're featured a lot in the movies. Like in Kill Bill, they show her feet. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
She's like perfect for the role, though. I don't know who else you
Perfect.
could have had. I mean,
She was
none of those
fantastic.
others would fit. Or
No. And at that point, we didn't know much of Uma Thurman.
Yeah.
And so this was like her big entree to the world, and it was perfect. Bruce Willis had been having some trouble, a lot of box office disappointments, but they were like, no, let's make him Butch. And then his career took off again. Same thing with John Travolta. Yeah, he was sort of down and out, and Quentin Tarantino's like, no, he's perfect for this. Let's do it. One final thing, Ezekiel 25:17 is a mishmash of Bible verses, and MCU fans will know that in Captain America and the Winter Soldier, when Nick Fury fakes his death, we see his tombstone at the end, and it says Ezekiel 25:17 at the end because it's Sam Jackson. And I shouted with glee, I think, when I saw that for the first time.
Yeah.
Yes.
I did find out who Steve Buscemi was Buddy Holly.
Oh,
That's
Buddy
what it was.
Holly. Okay,
Buddy-
great.
That's funny.
I'm glad you did the research. Thank you. I thought for a moment there was an emergency because you were
No.
holding your phone like, I got to tell you, I got to go.
Yeah.
I don't know what the emergency would have been, but it just,
Okay. I have another important question for you.
oh boy,
Oh, I
let's
love an
hear
important
it.
question.
Yes.
Okay. I'm hoping that the answer is yes. Is your entire retirement completely dependent on selling your Beanie Babies collection like mine is?
It would be if I had Beanie Babies, but no. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Just checking. Just
Okay.
checking.
Yeah.
So this
I mean,
is
it seems like a solid retirement
Yeah.
plan.
seems great.
Yeah.
Seems like no problems whatsoever, except
Yes.
that the whole Beanie Babies market crashed immediately. But this is the year when Beanie Baby mania. So Ty Warner had an idea. He said, "What if we
Mr. Time Warner? I don't know.
Ty,
Oh.
Ty, not Time, Ty.
Time Warner.
Time's his cousin. And then they do different things and they don't like to be discussed in the same
Got it.
sentence.
Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. Ty Warner, as you know, the little tie tag on the Beanie Babies because high levels of narcissism.
Yeah.
Cool.
He decided, what if we took a stuffed animal or a plushie and just didn't fill it with soft stuff? What if we just put like, I don't know, beans in there? I'm assuming there's some level of cost savings maybe, or
Sure.
just trying to set yourself apart. I'm not really sure. But little did he know when he introduced the idea in 1993 at the North American International Toy Fair, also known as the World Toy Fair, in New York, that it would become a pulp culture icon. I'd assume at that time people were like, you're an idiot, Ty. But then he just proved them wrong. So I meant wrong. Production began in 1994 with 9 original Beanie Babies. And let me just read these 9 original. Legs the frog.
Oh my God.
Squealer
I hate
the
this.
pig.
No,
Oh.
Squealer.
It gets weirder. Spot the dog. Flash the dolphin. And Splash the whale.
Flash and splash.
Yeah. Chocolate the moose. Patty the platypus. Brownie the bear, which was later renamed to Cubby for obvious reasons. Pinchers the lobster, which became one of the most sought after Beanie Babies because they ran a line where the tags were accidentally printed as Punchers the lobster instead of Pinchers the lobster. So those are really if you found one that was supposed to be really like rare and worth money because they tried to bring those all back that had the wrong tag on
Oh
them.
my God.
So it started real slow. Sales were slow because no one knew quite what to do with this. So they pulled an idea from Disney and they started limiting the amount of items that a store could buy, making them seem more rare. Then they came out with the whole vault idea and said they would be retiring some after a certain amount of time so that the pressure would make people like Joyce's head explode.
Oh,
And they would have to get
Joyce.
all of them immediately. So we all know what happened next. Things got really, really intense. People were buying and selling them at a crazy rate. There was like full magazines dedicated to them, like how much each were worth. I mean, this was like stock level insanity.
How quickly did that all happen?
Very quickly. I was surprised at how quickly it happened. Like within the year that people were losing it. It really peaked out. Like I remember I was working at a bookstore at the time when Princess Diana died, and I remember like her Beanie Baby, they made one for her and it went crazy. Like people were everywhere trying to get it. They started releasing like limited edition ones that were like specific, kind of like that to Princess Diana or that type of thing. There, you could look books, all these things. You know, this is also kind of coincided with the same time that the internet was taking off as a place to buy, sell, you know, be able to look up that stuff. So I think that played a big part in pushing this trend as it did. And then what no one saw coming is it just faded out. Nobody gave a shit anymore about Beanie Babies. And these people that had these huge collections and all of this money, there's nowhere to go with it. Like if you sometimes go to thrift stores or whatever that have kid stuff, you'll see a Beanie Baby and it's like 50 cents. Like there's not a market to sell them anymore whatsoever because, again, it's a stuffed animal with beans. I mean, it was never...
Well, and then they created, the sense of urgency and the sense of like, it was fake. It was false. They just didn't manufacture enough so people would think like, oh, these are very scarce and they need them. And that was it. It
You're
wasn't,
right.
you know...
I don't understand economics very well, but it all feels like it's all just made up. It's just buying and trading bullshit. And so people just assumed that this was going to be like a stock or a bond or something that would just...
Well, and it's very short-sighted because it's not like it's something that the company went broke and there is no manufacturing. This is original. They were still manufacturing. So if they decide, I'm assuming if you sold out a Pincher's the Lobster, you just make more and sell them to the stores. Like there's a built-in problem, like you said, with the model. Like it's not, you're creating a false need to have this stuff. You know, and they didn't quite do it like Disney did, where Disney would be like, Sleeping Beauty's in the vault, and then you couldn't find it forever. And they didn't play it on Disney.
Except in the back room of Best Buy.
In the back room at Best Buy.
There they were. Target. I don't know why I said Best Buy. Sorry. I knew what I meant.
Yeah,
I just didn't say it right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, do you remember the SNL sketch with Lizzo and Andrew Dismukes about the Beanie Babies and how they're going to retire on the money? And
yeah, that's what it was. I have not seen the documentary on HBO, but I know a couple years they released one about the Beanie Baby thing. I actually thought it looked interesting. I plan to watch it at some point, but... I just remember that craze so well and people going nuts for him and that being like a gift. I remember getting a Beanie Baby. Someone gave me one for graduation and that was like 5 years later. Yeah. And I'm like, why are we doing this?
Well, I remember like in college, a lot of girls had a bunch of them. Like it was a whole
like a collection.
Yeah. And also question, what are the beans? What is it made of?
It's
is
a
this
valid
toxic?
question.
What is this?
I think they're made of Dippin' Dots, the ice cream of the future.
That sounds right. Yep.
The ice cream of the future is too much.
We saw the trailer for Fantastic Four. I think he's channeling the 1960s. The future.
And have you ever had Dippin' Dots?
I have, and it's
bad.
Yeah,
This is not how I want to consume my ice cream.
No.
So that's
there's a sense of synthetic to it.
There is.
Yeah,
Isn't
it
there?
feels like it's not made of real food.
No.
Maybe it's a partnership with Beanie Babies. They tore apart the Beanie Babies and they're like, here.
Yeah.
Let's feed them to people because they bought all these fucking Beanie
You
Babies. They're dumb.
just ate your Beanie Baby. Yeah, what a wild craze.
I remember when you said like the pinchers, they produced some that were called punchers, and people were like, "Oh God, those are
Yeah.
I remember Pepsi did a series of Christmas holiday themed cans where they changed the artwork on the cans, and there was like 5 different kinds, and like, I don't know, you were supposed to collect them, I guess. And there was one that had Santa Claus on it, and there was something in the drawing that someone thought looked like Santa Claus was like having sex with a reindeer or something. Like it wasn't intentional, but I remember like people were like, "Oh, it's an accident." I remember my dad went and found a 6-pack of Pepsi that had that drawing on it. Because he's like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be worth something because it's this error, right?"
Oh, Dad.
And I remember like. Then he left us sitting in the garage, and it was the winter, and it froze, and they all blew up, and there was this mess he had to clean up. And also, it's like, well, like something can't be worth something if nobody else wants it.
Right.
Somebody else has to want it, and
Yes.
nobody wants some whoopsies porn on the side of a Pepsi can. Like,
No, someone
nobody
actually
wants
probably
that.
already created that porn based on that
Probably.
Pepsi can.
Probably.
Also, whoopsies porn. I hope that's a category. That sounds pretty good. Yeah.
I do too. Whoopsie porn.
Also, but that seems like that mentality is probably
Yeah.
what was happening. Like everyone was
Absolutely.
like, I'm going
It
to
was
buy the
insane.
Pepsi cans, and then things explode in the garage.
Yeah. And then you realize I just have a room full of Beanie Babies and
Yeah.
no one wants them
Right.
because you didn't sell when the market was hot.
Was the market ever?
I don't know. I don't think so. I do not think so. But I remember we were still, when I worked at the bookstore, we were still stocking the Beanie Baby magazine. Because I remember every
Oh,
time
God, they had a magazine?
they had a magazine where you could look up like the ones that were out and like what was coming out, and they had like little features about people with,
Oh
and
my God.
yeah, I don't remember anyone buying it, but I
I was going to
remember
say, I want to know the people who bought this, like what they look like, who they are.
See, I don't remember the normal magazines. I just remember the weird porn
Yeah.
magazine people because it was always super awkward. And I was like, you're making this more awkward than it needs to be.
I'm
Like,
just picturing a lot of middle-aged men buying the Beanie Babies magazine
Yeah.
for nefarious purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the porn guys would always just buy another magazine on top of it. So it'd be
Right.
like I'm not going to still have to pick up that magazine and like
Yeah.
scan it, you
Yeah.
know. And heaven forbid my scanner didn't work because this is, before technology was great and I had to like type in the number and just we were like,
Give me your penthouse.
what are you
let me
doing
take a
this
look.
afternoon? Are you interested in our membership program?
Enjoy your whoopsies porn.
I bet when they redid their membership program and the guys that would buy dirty magazines from you, I bet they were upset too.
Oh, they
Oh,
were.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were the same guys that would come in as soon as we get the new edition of Penthouse Letters.
God.
Letters to Penthouse, that was like an actual paperback book. And when you didn't sell them out, this is like you had to take off the covers and send you could throw the book away, but you had to send the covers into the publisher to prove that you didn't keep
so
it
you
or sell
get
it.
reimbursed.
Oh yeah, but we left the paperback copy on the break room all the time because someone would constantly, in the break room, like read one of the letters out loud and be like, what the fuck?
And certainly those letters were written by men, right? They weren't real letters from women,
Absolutely.
right?
No, yeah. And I don't think anyone wrote in. I think they were all written
Hell
by
no.
the publisher, editor,
It was
whoever.
Larry Flint just writing all
Yes,
of them. Yeah.
exactly. Anyway, sorry, that was a weird tangent.
All right, Heath, what's your next one?
I think you guys know that if you've spent more than 30 continuous minutes with me at any point in time,
Which we have.
you've probably heard the song "What a Man" by Salt and Peppa, featuring En Vogue. I feel like it's my version of like when you're around a shark and the Jaws music plays, or when Michael Myers is looking for you and the Halloween theme plays. Like I feel like that is What a Man and I have the same
Wow.
kind of relationship. And I don't mean that like as if the song is about me. I just mean I have heard.
No,
the song a lot.
it's no. I didn't think that. Yeah, I was debating about whether is that a theme song? Like every time he walks in the room.
What a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man.
Yes.
We should do that the next time he comes riding his bike up the hill.
Yeah. Or stand outside with stand microphones. Perfect.
Want to take a minute or two to give much respect
I
to.
wasn't expecting you to go into the rap. I'm glad I didn't have a full drink yet.
I do
Please
love
proceed.
when it comes on satellite radio when I'm driving to work. Like I feel like I walk into work a little more confident when I when I
Yes.
still know every syllable to the entire song.
Yes.
Every single one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you know though that the version of the song that we all know and love, that's actually a cover?
Excuse me.
What?
The song was originally named "What a Man" and was recorded by Linda Lindell in 1968.
So it must just be like the chorus that they're sampling, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd love to hear the original.
Yes.
Lindell is a white singer who'd worked with James Brown and Ike and Tina Turner, and she, along with the record producer and studio musicians, apparently essentially kind of improvised this whole thing. Like they didn't have like sheet music and all the lyrics and everything written out. They just kind of like were jamming, I guess, and they recorded it, and then
that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Came out to be really good.
Yeah, it does.
The fact that she was white and had released the song in the R&B genre and had performed with black artists attracted the attention of the KKK.
What?
Who threatened her for associating with black musicians, and after that she basically disappeared for about 25 years. Because she just was like, I'm worried about my safety. I'm just going to step back. I just want to.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, that's so sad.
Yeah. Salt and Pepper and En Vogue's version of the song samples her original recording and was first released at the very, very end of '93. And originally it was just credited as an En Vogue song that featured Salt and Pepper. And it was initially released that an LP came out that was called Runaway Love that just had I think 6 or 7 songs on it.
Okay.
Yeah. And this part I thought was made me laugh. I don't know why. The lyrics of the song have been studied by academics.
Oh, wow. That seems like a good use of time
like
and
when I was
energy.
in college, I know you had to as part of your not general education, but your core requirements. You had to take a song in performing arts or something like that, and there was a song about pop music that everybody wanted to take, and you could not get into it unless you were a senior, because seniors get to register first, and that song would always fill up because people were like, oh, this is actually something I might know about and find interesting. I had to do something on classical music. I didn't love it.
I got into that one.
Was it? Yeah. What was it?
And then I had to do a whole report on Dr. Dre's album, specifically the
Chronic?
The one with You Can't Make a Hoe a Housewife. Because I had to do a specific part of my report on that song, and specifically inside that part of that song. And so I was in the library there, you could rent those rooms that had, and then he had it on reserve, and you would go in there and listen to the album, and I had to take notes. So I listened for hours to okay, what's he saying there? Okay. And then I had to break this down into an academic paper about Can't Make a Hoe a Housewife.
Huh. Mm-hmm. I think I like this song better.
Yeah. That would have been a better thing. Yeah. You just got assigned. After you got into the pop culture, I didn't get to pick. I just got assigned Dr. Dre, and I was like, this, okay.
I feel like that was from a teaching perspective, though. It's probably better to just assign these things out, because I feel like if you let people pick, you'd probably have 2/3 of the class would all pick if it was now, everybody pick a Taylor Swift song.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And he was trying to hit a bunch of different genres too, I think. And but he was a really great professor. It was just a very odd assignment.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
So the lyrics of this have been studied by the academics, and some of that is interesting, and I think maybe some of the time they're kind of missing the point.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
For example, a writer from the Washington Post described the song as, quote, a celebration of strong men who stay home and care for the kids. Okay, sure. Why not? A professor...
Okay.
Fuck you? I mean, they can't just do that without a song? I mean, I'm sorry. I hate that narrative. I'm babysitting. No, you're fucking caring for the kids you helped create.
A professor from Texas College interpreted the lyrics as praising a steady thinking, family values, yet sexy man.
Where are they getting this family value bullshit from?
I don't know. So, I guess I think we all at this point can agree the song's about a handsome man who's reliable, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that was hard to come by in 1994.
I mean, still, men are kind of trash. So that,
that's true. That's true.
That holds up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there's a writer named Keith Boykin analyzed the portion of the lyrics.
Keith, sit down. I already
quote,
feel like.
And I'll read the lyric.
Read it.
Although most men are hoes, he flows on the down low because I never heard about him with another girl. Right. Mm-hmm. So his interpretation of that was that meant that the performer understands that her lover is cheating, but appreciates that he's being discreet about it. But then he also thinks that the man is cheating with another man because of the line, I never heard about him with another girl.
No.
Right. Because when I hear that, it just means he is not cheating.
He's not cheating.
Never,
she's like, thanks for not cheating on me.
Right.
This is so
Which
much...
also you shouldn't have to thank someone.
You shouldn't have to thank someone. Yeah.
This is what therapists call projection, Keith. You have some shit going on. You need to get figured out.
He does. Yeah. He has some shit going on.
Yeah, he's got some shit going on.
So, for Keith, you try to show somebody a good time, and all they want to do is talk about what's wrong. And to quote our dear friend Travis, Keith would complain about the chip dip at an orgy.
Oh my God, that's a great line, actually.
He would.
He would.
He'd be that guy.
I bet Keith has been invited to one orgy and never
again.
asked back. No.
Yeah, because everyone was like, he just kept talking about the lyrics to What a Man.
I actually take a step further. I think Keith's been talking, like he's been trying to get invited to the orgy, and it's so weird that they just refuse.
right.
Like he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
so like, are you guys ever doing an orgy? Or like,
So, like, what days?
like, what do you usually do? I'm like, I could just drop by. I'm not super busy this weekend.
Like,
Like,
you guys need anything?
I also have a
chips?
really cool fondue set. I don't know if that's like interesting to anyone, or I don't know. I could bring like a party pizza. I don't
Bring a mixtape with some salt and pepper, and then I can tell you about it.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. I've done like a whole dissertation on salt and pepper. So.
Also, I mean, just the idea that a man was trying to explain the lyrics.
Yeah,
to this,
I don't
this
want-
song
yeah,
is sort of
just-
you
just kinda
suck.
gross.
Why
Yeah.
did we even go into this where we're dissecting these lyrics? Like,
So, the song was a great big hit and was a number 23 on VH1's list of the 100 greatest songs of the 1990s.
Oh,
It was a
okay.
whole decade.
I was going to
Yeah.
say 23 and then of the greatest. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
acceptable.
yeah.
Yeah.
Salt and Pepper and En Vogue, they both currently continue to sing the song when they go out on tour. I think, and I think they were 2 years ago or something. They were on some tour with, I think, Salt and Pepper and En Vogue and the New Kids on the Block and Rick
Yeah, that was the one
Astley.
you went to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
love
they
the
sang
90s.
it together, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did. Yep.
Okay.
It was
I
a
bet that was-
delight.
that's
It was a
good.
delight. Yeah.
Well, for my final one, I want to talk about the hot, beautiful mess that is Legends of the Fall.
Ooh.
So this glorious, weird movie stars Brad Pitt,
Uh-huh.
Anthony Hopkins, Aidan Quinn, Julia Ormond, and Henry Thomas of E.T. fame, all
Oh,
grown up.
yeah. He survived somehow.
He survived. He survived E.T.'s nefarious plan.
E.T.'s finger.
He lists that on his resume. I survived E.T.'s finger. So this is set in the early 1900s, primarily in the Montana wilderness. Colonel William Ludlow is Anthony Hopkins. And he's been disillusioned by the U.S. government's treatment of Native Americans. So he's out in the middle of nowheres in Montana. And he's
I
raising...
feel like everyone in Montana is disillusioned with something.
They got a case of disillusionment.
Yeah.
He's raising his
He's got
three...
some white savior stuff going on.
This is very much white savior stuff going on. Because actually one of his friends, a Cree Native American, One Stab, helps narrate the family's legacy. He's narrating this movie.
His name's One Stab?
One Stab. Which I don't know
Is
if he
that
chose that or if
Right.
Ludlow's like, that's your name.
Huh.
So Ludlow is raising his three sons. Alfred is Aidan Quinn. Tristan is Brad Pitt. And Samuel is Henry Thomas. Samuel is the youngest. He comes home one day from Harvard with his beautiful fiancée, Susanna, who is Julia Ormond, who was a big deal in the 90s. Like,
Yeah.
she was hitting a lot of these movies. And she quickly bonds with the family, and all of the boys fall in love with her.
Yeah.
Because probably they haven't seen another woman in a long time out in the Montana wilderness. So then World War II comes around. Excuse me, World War I.
Oh, so annoying.
Yeah. And all three brothers are like, let's sign up. Let's go. So they go to fight in World War I, and it goes bad. Samuel is killed in a horrific mustard gas attack. And Tristan tries to save him and cannot. And so he goes mad with grief. He cuts out his brother's heart
Oh, shit, dude.
because he apparently learned that from One Stab. And he
That
sends
takes more than one stab.
Yeah, and we see that scene like he's just
Oh,
he's
for fuck's
screaming
sake.
and crying and cutting out his heart. Yeah, and he sends the heart home in a box to be buried. So I don't know how the
Oh, fuck.
I don't know how
That
the
is-
U.S. Postal Service deals with like a heart.
Like a
bloody
biohazard?
This seems to be dripping blood.
Huh.
They send it home, and
And it got there, 9 weeks later?
Yes.
I mean,
And Tristan he's so mad with grief, he spirals and he leaves for years of soul searching around the world. So
sounds like an eat, pray, love thing?
yes. So the other brother, Alfred, Aidan Quinn, he comes home. And Susanna, no man. So she's like, all right, I'll hook up with you. Fine. Because apparently she's stuck with the Ludlow family. And she just
can't leave.
She has to be
Like-
passed around.
He brought her home from Harvard and she had no way to get back, so now she just lives there?
Apparently, she lives with the Ludlows while the
Oh.
boys are off at World War
Huh.
I. Yeah. So Alfred and Susanna hook up. But then Tristan comes back, and he's wiser and hotter and longer hair. And he and Susanna they fall deeply in love.
Oh no. So they all had Susanna.
Yeah,
they all the brothers had one thing
she's
in common.
Pass around Patty. Yeah, that's what's happening.
Okay. We need more time on pass around Patty. What?
That's another Travis term, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pass around Patty at the orgy.
What about Anthony Hopkins? Has he gotten in on this?
Anthony Hopkins at this point has had a stroke, so he might have, but he can't. He can't anymore.
Okay.
You know, so maybe during World War I, while all the boys were away, he's like, "Guess what? I'm the papa."
I mean, odds are.
Yeah, exactly. So
I love it when you call me Big Papa.
So Tristan and Susanna are deeply in love, but Tristan's just still so sad. So he pushes Susanna away.
Oh, yes, arm's length always.
Yes, believing that he brings destruction to those that he loves. Because his
you
poor
did
brother,
rip out the heart, dude.
Yeah.
You do kind of, yeah.
and his brother died in a war.
Yeah.
Not his fault, but
It's not all about you, Tristan.
So he leaves again. He goes around the world and he gets into deep, dark shit. He's like a pirate for a while, and he sends
Who's paying for this?
Daddy Ludlow, apparently.
Oh gosh.
And he sends a letter back to Susanna saying, like, I am dead inside, marry another. So she marries Quinn. The brother. Yeah. Or wait, what's his name again? What's his name? Alfred. Aidan Quinn. That's what I'm naming him. Yeah.
But how sad. She was with you. She left you for your brother. He's dead inside. So now you get her? No.
Yeah, because he's still so in love with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so in love. Because this is a magic woman with a magical set of genitals, apparently, because...
Take umbrage with the use of set of genitals.
She also got Arnold Schwarzenegger pregnant.
So they're married.
Sure.
They have a family. Tristan comes back. And
surprise.
Yeah, and Susanna's still in love with him, but he's moved on. He marries a woman named Isabel II.
Not to be confused with Isabel 1.
Who was the daughter of a Cree family friend who's always adored him. I think the mother was named Isabel, and she's Isabel too. So
is it TWO or TOO?
TWO.
Oh, like Audrey 2 from
exactly
Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh my!
So now we're in Prohibition, and Tristan gets involved in bootlegging, and unfortunately, he has a run-in with some corrupt lawmen who are linked to Alfred, Aidan Quinn, because he's in politics by this point. And Isabel too gets died. She dies.
She gets died.
Oh no, not the died.
That sounds different, kind of intense. Honestly, she's died.
Killed. She gets died. She's killed, and is desperate. So now he's super sad again because he's always sad. He's sad and hot. That's his role. Gosh. He's sad and hot. And meanwhile, Susanna is just so unfulfilled and sad that she kills herself. So it's
Jesus.
This feels like Officer and a Gentleman, where everyone's just miserable.
Yeah.
Miserable.
Yeah.
Tristan,
and everybody just wants to marry somebody in the same goddamn family.
Yeah.
Tristan avenges Isabel II's death and turns himself in. Alfred eventually comes to his side and protects him. And then the family just lives out their life. But in old age, Tristan dies fighting a grizzly bear.
Oh, come on, Tristan.
No, we're done with stuff. You can't add a grizzly bear at the end.
And One Stab, who's been narrating this all the time, right? Oh. He closes the story with, "It was a good death."
Oh, okay, One Stab.
So...
One Stab was
How
not
long
rooting
is
for
this
Tristan.
movie? Because this feels like...
I think it was long. It was at least 2 hours. And yeah.
It feels like it would be forever. I never saw it. Clearly.
Okay.
I thought this was the one about them fly fishing.
No, that was A River Runs Through It, but that was also Brad Pitt.
Okay,
and there were also Native Americans involved and love and Montana, I think. And that was this year too. Yeah.
Okay.
So some behind the scenes action. Brad Pitt almost quit because he was frustrated with his character during filming, and he apparently clashed with the director, Edward Zwick. At one point, he stormed off the set saying, "You want me to cry? Then fucking cry yourself."
Oh.
So, but that's actually your job. your job is to act like a human.
That didn't land like you thought.
No.
That's
Yeah.
like you had a really good storm off moment you got in your own head. You
Right,
didn't
yeah.
say what you needed to
Right.
say.
Didn't say what you
Relatable.
needed.
Very
Yeah.
relatable.
Somebody did at work once. There was an argument happening in a meeting, and someone tried to storm out, but the door they tried to storm out of was locked. So they had to walk across and go out the other door. And I was like, "Oh shit, that would have been a lot better if that door had been unlocked."
So bad. So initially, the movie was kind of polarizing with critics because some were saying it was melodramatic. I don't know what they're talking about.
Huh?
Yeah.
Dare you?
But the film became a cult favorite, especially due to Brad Pitt's iconic look. It's very like grunge chic with like long hair and everything. A really lovely score actually by James Horner, and it was a really pretty movie. It's very beautiful. Just sad, miserable people living their lives and getting in fights with bears and appropriating Native American culture and being white saviors.
Wow.
1994, everybody.
What a span. Junior to Legends of the Fall. I mean, how could anyone keep up?
Yeah.
Can you imagine like watching Legends of the Fall and then falling asleep, and then you wake up and you're like in the middle of Junior and you don't realize it's a
that's
different movie? You're like,
alarming.
what the fuck is happening?
It'd be like the Barbie Oppenheimer of
Right,
that
yeah.
time.
Remember when we
Legends of the Junior.
Remember when we recommended like a quartet of really weird movies together? Maybe what we should recommend is almost like a Pink Floyd Wizard of Oz situation where you get drunk, you fall asleep halfway through, or you take some substances, and then you wake up and you watch part of another movie, and then you go, and then so you're just seeing bits of movies combined together. Yeah.
That could be something.
I think that was my one brilliant idea for the day.
And it was a good one.
It was a good one. I think it's good advice.
Good job, everybody.
Yay, 1994.
Fuzzy Memories is a Broads and Books production. It's hosted by Heath Smith, Aaron Johnston, and Amy Lee Lillard. Big thanks to our supporters on Patreon, especially those at the Make Me Famous level, including Haley Scarpino, Nick Thornton, Daniela Barzalo, Matthew Serbach, and Last Name Greatest. Sign up at our Patreon for bonuses and new stuff. And be sure to follow us at Fuzzy Memories Pod on Instagram for clips and highlights. See you next time. All right, shall we? Will everyone speak into their microphones?
Speaking.
Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thunderbolts
I
unite.
mean to tell you this every time, but I want you to just where your head was just at now, where we're like speaking in the microphone, and then imagine out of nowhere that Amy makes robot noises. Beep, bop, boop. That happened one time in Broads and Books, and I was like, what? I didn't recover for a bit.
Oh, that's right. I was channeling emo before emo was around. I was
Yeah.
like, beep, bop, boop. And
I know.
that was
I
my
meant to send you
testing.
guys a video this week.
Yeah, we still need that. I keep meaning to look him up, and then I get scared.
Yeah, I'll send you a video.
Okay.
When I get him out this week.
All right. You send that, and I'll send you the latest raccoon video, and we'll be even. It'll be
that's
great.
perfect. Yeah, your raccoon videos are nice content and less threatening. So just prepare yourself.